She thought he was just a crippled beggar, broken, forgotten, invisible. But one day, after months of feeding him from her little food stall, he looked up at her with eyes that held a secret. "I'm a billionaire," he said. What happened next changed her life forever. Every morning before sunrise, Mia swept the stone steps of the city's oldest cafe. She worked as a maid, cleaning tables, mopping floors, and making sure the aroma of freshly baked bread filled the air before customers arrived. Life hadn't been kind to Mia. Her parents had passed when she was 16, and she'd been fending for herself ever since. But through all her struggles, Mia had something rare, a heart that still believed in goodness. She lived in a small, broken-down apartment at the edge of town. It had a leaky roof and creaky windows, but it was home. Each evening, on her walk home from work, Mia passed by an alleyway where a crippled old beggar sat silently. He never spoke, never asked, and never looked anyone in the eye. His clothes were tattered, his hands shook from cold and hunger, and his wheelchair was rusted and barely held together. The first time Mia saw him, something inside her paused. Maybe it was his eyes, or maybe it was the silence around him. While others walked past or looked away, Mia returned a few minutes later with a warm bun wrapped in napkins. "Here," she said gently, placing it on his lap. He didn't say anything. He just looked at her with tired, watery eyes and nodded. From that day on, it became a ritual. Every evening, Mia brought him something: bread, soup, sometimes leftovers from the cafe. She even started packing 2 lunches, one for herself, one for him. She'd sit beside him for a few minutes, share stories from her day, and sometimes she'd even joke to make him smile. She didn't know his name. He didn't ask hers. But there was something sacred about the silence they shared. People began to notice. The cafe manager frowned at her generosity. "You're wasting your time and food," he'd say. "That old man's been there for years. He's probably just lazy." But Mia never listened. Some neighbors whispered, "She's too naive. What if he's dangerous?" Others said, "What's the point? He's crippled, he's old, he's nothing." But Mia kept coming. Even on the coldest days when her fingers turned red and her boots had holes. Even when she didn't eat lunch herself so she could feed him. Even when she got sick and could barely walk. "He needs it more than me," she'd whisper to herself. One rainy evening, Mia arrived later than usual. She was soaked, tired, and shivering. She handed the man a small bowl of hot porridge she'd kept warm in her coat. "Sorry I'm late," she said with a weak smile. For the first time in months, the man spoke. His voice was deep but gentle. "You're always kind, even when you have nothing." Mia was stunned but nodded. "Someone has to be." He looked at her for a long moment. "Tell me your name," he said. "Mia." He repeated it softly. "Mia." Then, one day, the beggar wasn't there. Not the next day. Nor the next week. Mia worried something had happened. She asked around. Nobody had seen him. Days turned into weeks. Then a month passed. She sighed and continued her life, heart heavy, wondering if she'd ever see him again. Then came the letter. It was delivered to the cafe, addressed simply to Mia. Inside was a handwritten note. To the woman who fed a forgotten man with no questions asked, "Meet me at the Grand Aurora Hotel, tomorrow at noon." Confused, she almost threw it away. But curiosity won. The next day, wearing her cleanest dress and borrowed shoes, Mia stood in front of the most luxurious hotel in the city. Chandeliers sparkled inside. Staff wore gold-trimmed uniforms. Mia, a tall man in a black suit, greeted her. He led her through velvet halls and opened double doors to a private lounge. Sitting there was the man, only he wasn't crippled anymore. He stood tall, dressed in a designer suit, his face clean, his hands steady. Mia froze. "Orion," she whispered, unsure if her mind was playing tricks. He smiled warmly. "My name is Daniel Orion. I'm the founder of Orion Tech, a global firm. I was testing something personal. Emma blinked. What do you mean? Daniel walked closer. After losing my wife to a car crash, I lost faith in humanity. People only wanted my money, not me. I disguised myself, crippled and nameless, to see if there was any goodness left in the world. And you found me? He nodded. You gave without asking. You listened. You sat beside me when I was invisible to others. You reminded me what it means to be human. Tears welled in her eyes. Now, Emma, I want to change your life the way you changed mine. Daniel took her hand and led her to a window. Down there, he said, pointing at a small building, is your new cafe. Fully paid. Fully yours. You'll never sweep for anyone else again, unless you want to. He handed her a folder. Inside were keys, bank documents, and a letter. Mia's Hearth Cafe, a place where kindness is always on the menu. He gave her a card. This is a platinum card. It's connected to your new account. Don't ask how much is in it. Just promise me one thing, keep feeding those who are forgotten. Like you did for me. Emma couldn't stop crying. Her life had changed in a way she never imagined. Mia's Cafe became famous. But not because of the food, though it was amazing, but because every poor soul who walked through its doors was served first. No charge. A picture of a crippled man in a wheelchair sat by the entrance, with a plaque beneath it. He came in need. He left a legacy. People from around the world came to hear Mia's story. She gave interviews. Wrote books. But no matter how wealthy or known she became, she still packed a second lunch each day. Just in case, she'd say. You never know who you're feeding. One simple act. One silent alley. One bowl of porridge. That's all it took to change 2 lives forever. If this story moved you, share it with someone who still believes in the power of kindness. Because sometimes, the richest hearts come in the poorest packages, and the smallest gesture may unlock a miracle. Next time you pass by someone in need, don't just walk away. You might just be feeding a billionaire in disguise.